My near-death experience, a journey between life and eternity. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29-11. 12 months. Ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 multiple myeloma. It felt like my world had been turned upside down. The doctors told me the prognosis was grim, but in my heart, I wasn't ready to give up. My daughter Nora had just given birth, and despite my frail condition after a chemo blast 5 months earlier, I insisted on helping her with the baby. My older daughter, Rihanna, tried to dissuade me. She worried I wasn't strong enough. But something inside me whispered, "While you're still alive, be useful." So, I went. The train station dream. While staying with Nora, I started feeling unwell, fevers, chills, and an overwhelming fatigue. Then, the dreams began. One night, I found myself standing at a train station. Across the platform stood my late husband, holding my grandsons by his side. He called to them, "Tell her to come with me." But I shook my head and said, "Tell him I'm not ready. I have things I still need to do." He boarded the train alone. My grandson stayed with me. I woke up shaken. Was this a message from beyond? I told my daughters about the dream. Nora thought I was simply missing their father, but Rihanna, she just looked at me, silent, and changed the subject. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1, ignoring the call. A month. Later, my time with Nora was up. I returned to Rihanna's house, my main caregiver. But I couldn't ignore the growing sense of unease. The hospital kept calling, but I didn't answer. I already knew what they were going to say. It had been 6 months since my chemo blast, the window they had given me. Finally, I picked up. "Nancy, it's not looking good. The cell regrowth hasn't been as successful as we'd hoped. Can you come to the hospital as soon as possible?" The world blurred. Their words stretched into slow motion. I sat alone in my room, staring at the phone in my trembling hands. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified, for the Lord your God goes with you." Deuteronomy 31:6. Waited 5 days before packing my bag and driving myself to the hospital. I wished my daughter could have taken me, but she had just started a new job. I didn't want to burden her. When I arrived, they admitted me to the care of the elderly ward. I was stunned. Elderly? Me? I was 60 going on 30. Looked around at the frail patients and panicked. Was this my fate? I absconded. Yes, I ran away. From the hospital. From death. The box and the sand. They called me back 2 days later, saying they had a bed for me in the haematology ward. I returned, but my health deteriorated rapidly. I went into cardiac arrest. I don't remember much, but I do remember the dream. I was in a box. Light barely seeped through the cracks. Voices murmured in the distance. Then I heard sand, shovels throwing sand onto the box. I woke up gasping. Was this my burial? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23 for Rihanna's 3 dreams. 9 months post-chemo blast, I was discharged, but something in my spirit told me I wouldn't be home for long. The doctors called. My latest blood tests were concerning. I had to go back. I hugged my grandchildren tightly. I knew in my soul this was my final goodbye. At the hospital, one night turned into 1 week, then 2 weeks, and then I never left. One Saturday, Rihanna called, her voice uneasy. "Mum, I've been having dreams. 3 nights in a row. They're scaring me." Dream 1. She saw me driving her daughter, and Nora in my white Mercedes. We were all dressed in white, but we never reached our destination. Dream 2. I was alive, healthy, radiant. I was cooking beef stew in an African classroom. Someone was stacking spices on shelves, someone she didn't recognize. Dream 3. We were all in church. Me, Rihanna, my sister Pamela, and my son Jeremiah. Always 4 people in each dream. In my father's house are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. John 14, to Rihanna was terrified. I told her, these dreams mean I'm dead. She tried to reassure me, but we both knew the truth. The final goodbye. After that, I was too sedated to talk much. But one day, for some reason I had clarity. I woke up feeling strong. I showered alone. I cleaned my hospital room. I walked the halls thanking the nurses. And then I called Rihanna. Mom, you sound different. So clear. I smiled, though she couldn't see it. God guided my steps today, I told her. I just want you to know, I'm at peace. I'm going to see Dad, my brother Michael, my sister Jacinta. Don't be sad for me. Rejoice. She tried to argue, but I could tell. She was protecting herself from the pain. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Psalm 116:15. I never spoke again after that day, and now I rest. Life is a journey, but death is not the end. We will meet again. Until then, live fully, love deeply, and trust in the Lord. The end-of-life dream in this context serves as a deeply symbolic and spiritual experience, often reported by those nearing death. These visions are commonly referred to as deathbed phenomena or end-of-life dreams and visions, ELDVs. They are frequently described as vivid, comforting, and profoundly meaningful, often involving deceased loved ones, religious figures, or peaceful landscapes. Scientific and spiritual perspectives on end-of-life dreams, visions of deceased loved ones. One of the most common themes in end-of-life dreams is seeing family members who have already passed. In the story, the narrator dreams of her late husband calling her to join him, but she initially refuses because she still has things to do. This aligns with hospice studies, showing that patients often report seeing deceased relatives waiting for them, sometimes offering reassurance that they are not alone. Dr. Christopher Kerr, a hospice physician and researcher, has extensively studied these dreams, noting that many patients see parents, siblings, or spouses who come to take them home. Symbolism of transportation, trains, boats, or roads. The narrator's dream of a train station reflects a powerful recurring motif in end-of-life visions: travel. Many people dream of trains, boats, bridges, or roads leading to an unknown, but peaceful place. These symbols often represent a transition from life to death. Similar reports include patients dreaming of boarding a bus that never departs or waiting at an airport gate, symbolizing their liminal state between life and eternity. Burial. Imagery. The box and the sand. The vision of being in a box with sand being shoveled over it is particularly striking. This may represent the subconscious mind processing the reality of physical death. Some near-death experiencers describe sensations of being buried, sinking, or enclosed, often followed by a feeling of release into light or peace. This could also be linked to cultural archetypes of burial and the body returning to the earth, echoing the biblical phrase, "For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." Genesis 3:19. A sudden burst of energy before death, the rally. The narrator's final moment of clarity, waking up, showering, cleaning her hospital room and speaking clearly to her daughter, is known as terminal lucidity, or the rally before death. This phenomenon is well documented in palliative care, where some terminally ill patients suddenly regain cognitive clarity, energy, and even joy shortly before passing. It often serves as a final opportunity for loved ones to say goodbye, which aligns with the narrator's farewell call to her daughter. The number 4 in Rihanna's dreams, in biblical and spiritual symbolism, the number 4 represents completeness and order. In Rihanna's dreams, 4 people, family members, are always present. In Christianity, the number 4 is associated with the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 corners of the earth, and the 4 seasons, symbolizing the full cycle of life. This could signify the narrator's transition to the eternal home prepared for her, John 14:2, final reflection. a message beyond death. The narrator's story concludes with peace and acceptance, mirroring accounts from those who have undergone near-death experiences, NDEs. Her message, "Rejoice, do not be sad for me," echoes a common theme in afterlife encounters. Death is not an end, but a continuation of existence. The closing scene, fading to black with the words, "Life is a journey, but death is not the end," reinforces a universal spiritual truth, whether from religious, mystical, or hospice perspectives, that love and connection transcend physical death. Thank you for watching. Let me know in your comments if you know of anyone who has experienced end-of-life dreams. Let us know your take on end-of-life dreams. Don't forget to subscribe for more content and share with your friends.